To always start a good day in spiritual practice, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will talk about these 5 things that we should not do, and why not. And we will understand this through the teachings of Krishna Ji. Anger. The first thing we should not do is get angry. Anger is an emotion that takes us away from our spiritual peace. When we are angry, we lose our ability to think and concentrate. Lord Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, the disorders arising from anger bind man more in the senses. Therefore, we should try to remove anger from our lives. Anger, which is a big part of our lives, is actually a dangerous and harmful aspect of our lives. Thus, through the teachings of Lord Krishna we can know why we should stay away from anger. To know this topic in detail, we will consider it in various aspects. 1. Meaning and types of anger. Anger means a feeling of excitement or rage. It is a negative emotion that causes suffering to the environment around us. There are many types of anger, such as rage, anger, wrath, etc. It can harm our mind, body and spirit and put us at risk of harm. 2. Effects of anger. Anger has many types of effects in our lives. First, it takes us away from the restraint of our spirit. When we are angry, our thoughts and decisions get affected and we are not able to take right decisions towards our objective. Secondly, anger creates unwanted environment in our family and society. It damages our relationships with our loved ones and our relationships get disrupted. Third, anger makes us lose our sense of strength, courage, and peace. It robs us of the strength, understanding, and stability deep within our souls. 3. How to control anger. There are many methods to control anger, which we should apply in our life. First, we must educate our soul. We should adopt the practice of meditation to control our mind. Secondly, we should practice meditation. With the help of meditation we can calm our mind and control anger. Third, we must accept the enabler. Sambal gives us tolerance and patience in difficult situations, so that we can handle our anger. There are many examples of anger around us, which make us experience this emotion. For example, if a person becomes angry because of some unwanted incident with his boss or coworkers, he may potentially fail to perform his job properly. Another example is in a family, where one member's anger can damage relationships with other members, leading to greater family relationships. Ultimately, anger is an emotion that leads our lives towards unrest, unhappiness, and failure. Krishna Ji in Bhagavad Gita advises us to stay away from the unjust effects of anger, so that we can live a peaceful and prosperous life. Therefore, we should try to keep ourselves away from anger and follow the teachings of Lord Krishna. Greed. The second thing we should not do is greed. Greed leads us in the direction of eternal desires and forces us to misuse them to fulfill them. Lord Krishna has said this in the Bhagavad Gita, men driven by greed and desire do not believe in gods, yajnas, and the fruits of yajnas. Therefore, we should strive to be balanced and selfless. Greed, from a psychological point of view, is an emotion that makes us want more. It is a deep desire that motivates us to acquire the social, economic, and other natural resources around us. This feeling increases the feeling of wanting more in every area of our lives, making us often forget about the feeling of happiness, contentment, and peace. 1. Meaning and types of greed. Greed means an excessive desire or feeling of desire. This emotion motivates us to obtain our social, economic, or natural resources. There are many types of greed, such as greed for money, greed for external attractions, and greed for power. 2. Effects of greed. Greed has many effects on our lives. Firstly, it takes us away from the soberness of our purpose. A greedy person is often unable to distinguish between right and wrong in his own hands, and there remains an element of fault in his behavior. Secondly, greed causes us difficulty in our relationships. It makes our family and social relationships unfair and unjust. Third, greed makes us dissatisfied with our position and power. 3. How to control greed. To control greed we need education and restraint of our soul. We should use meditation and mindfulness to control our mind. Secondly, we must use discretion. We should understand the feeling of greed and take positive steps to end it. There are many examples of greed, which help us understand the depth of this emotion. For example, a person who is extremely greedy with his money and strives to lead others to maximum possible achievements. Secondly, a person who gives great importance to commercial or social status and causes harm to other people for his own self-interest. Greed is a very harmful and unnecessary emotion which makes us unsuccessful towards our objectives. We should try to keep ourselves away from greed and follow the teachings of Lord Krishna. To get rid of the feeling of greed, we should promote the feeling of contentment and balance. Attachment. The third thing we should not do is attachment. Attachment is an incredible state that takes us away from reality. It leads us into falsehood and illusion and distracts us from the truth of the Spirit. Lord Krishna has said, whatever ends, one should not be attached to it. We must develop the ability to accept the truth and live in it. Illusion is an illusion that entangles us in the invisible and unreal environment around us. It disconnects us from reality and takes us away from spiritual peace. In the Krishna sermon, the harmful effects of attachment are discussed and guidance is provided to free us from this illusory illusion. Therefore, we will discuss this topic in detail, understand the effects of attachment and know the solutions to overcome it. 1. Meaning and types of attachment. Attachment is an illusion that entangles us in the untruth of the environment around us. It disconnects us from reality and makes us unaware of our spiritual condition. There are many types of attachment, such as attachment, and avidya. 2. Effects of attachment. Attachment has many effects on our lives. First, it disconnects us from reality. When we are fascinated, we are not able to understand the situation around us correctly and can take wrong decisions in our life. Secondly, attachment makes us unaware of our spiritual condition. It leads us towards self-knowledge and self-support. 3. How to control attachment. To control attachment, we must educate our mind. We must use meditation and mindfulness to understand our spiritual state. Secondly, we should engage in the process of spiritual practice. We should try to understand our soul through self-control and self-knowledge. We see many examples of attachment around us. For example, a person who does not understand his relationships correctly and considers them more important. Secondly, a person who is immersed in delusion and is separated from his reality. Attachment is an illusion that entangles us in the untruth of the environment around us. We should free ourselves from this illusion and search for truth and follow the teachings of Krishna Ji so that we can live a prosperous and happy life with reality. Ego. The fourth thing we should not do is ego. Ego blocks our lives and makes us lack generosity and understanding towards others. Krishna Ji has said in Bhagavad Gita, you should avoid ego. This increases narcissism and deprives us of the ability to understand other people. Ego is a terrible and harmful emotion which makes our life depressed and uneducated. It inspires us to behave uneducatedly with the nature around us and with other people. Through Krishna's teachings we can learn why we need sensitivity and restraint towards ego. Therefore, we will discuss this topic in detail, understand its effects and measures to control it. 1. Meaning and types of ego. Ego is an emotion based on considering ourselves as extremely important. It is a mental state in which we consider ourselves more important and try to degrade others. There are many types of ego, such as arrogance, pride, and boringness. 2. Effects of ego. Ego has many effects on our lives. Firstly, it leads us to behave illiterately with the people around us. An arrogant person often tries to put others down and treats them unfairly. Secondly, ego leads us to indulge in our own soul's ambitions. This leads us to ignorance and failure. 3. How to control ego. To control ego, we must control our soul. We should use our mind education and meditation so that we can control our ego. Secondly, we must develop the capacity for sensitivity. We should develop the ability to understand and resolve the feelings of others. We see many examples of ego around us. For example, a person who is extremely proud of his success and tries to show it off to others. Secondly, a person who considers his soul more important than the common man and treats him uneducated. Ego is a negative and harmful emotion that can make us unsuccessful towards our objectives. We should try to control our mind and follow the teachings of Krishna Ji so that we can live a peaceful and prosperous life. Ill will. Finally, the fifth thing we should not do is ill will. Bad luck forces us to wallow in negative emotions, which prevents us from moving forward towards our life's purpose. Krishna Ji has said, you can liberate yourself by renouncing fruitless actions. Therefore, we should leave aside fruitive actions and try to perform true and selfless actions. Ill will is an extremely negative emotion that prompts us to view the environment and events around us from a negative perspective. It makes us feel lack of self-support and reduces the quality of our life. On the contrary, encouraging positive and hopeful thoughts increases our self-confidence and fills our lives with positivity. 1. Meaning and types of ill will. Ill will means negative beliefs or thoughts, which force us to view events and environments from a negative perspective. It includes a variety of emotions such as disappointment, frustration, and unhappiness. 2. Effects of ill will. Bad luck has many effects on our lives. Firstly, it makes us feel lack of self-support. A person immersed in bad intentions does not believe in himself and does not understand his abilities. Secondly, it reduces the quality of our life. People affected by ill will often feel conflict and dissatisfaction in their lives. 3. How to control ill will. To control ill will, we must educate our mind. We should encourage positive and hopeful thoughts and discourage negative thoughts. Should try to remove it. Secondly, we should use our music, studies, and time on positive and inspirational topics that give us self-support and increased self-confidence. We see many examples of ill will around us. For example, a person who is not getting success in his work and has a feeling of negativity in his work. Secondly, a person who always looks at the situation around him from a negative perspective and never sees the positive in it. Ill will is a negative and harmful emotion that can make us unsuccessful towards our objectives. We should try to control our mind and follow the teachings of Krishna Ji so that we can live a positive and prosperous life. Note that we should try to remove these things from our lives. Krishna's teachings guide us towards living a more sensitive and lively life. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.